We've got the injuries. Hollywood is sick. Clyde's sick. Nazi just tweaked his knee, the one that he had surgery on, but we should be okay there. It's a little bit more the hamstring than the knee. Chris Jones, groin strain, and then Justin and Watson we've already talked about, but they're making progress. Good practice today. Guys challenging each other, going back and forth. Got a lot of 1 versus 1 and 2 versus 2 going today. Red zone was a big part of today's practice, which we need. You need to be sharp in these areas, and that's a big one right there. So it was good work today. Time's yours.
How do you evaluate where Louis Reid's standard is at, especially in the one-on-one?
Yeah, listen, he's learning. He's learning. This is all new to him, but he's working his tail off, working through it. You can see his athletic ability. He's just got to get used to doing all the different things we're asking him to do.
What about the players at left tackle? I know it's real early in camp, but what do you see from them?
Yeah, I like the competition there. They're going, really, there are 2 of them that are working in there, and they're doing a nice job. So they kind of go back and forth, and they're challenging each other. They're also good friends, so they've developed a friendship, and it's good, healthy competition.
Maybe how much do you emphasize turnovers here in training camp? I know you've talked before about quarterbacks testing windows, but even for defense, how much do you emphasize?
Yeah, both ways. Yeah, both ways. You don't want to turn the ball over, but at the same time, I want to let the quarterbacks work and see what they can get away with, and so without being ridiculous, So, and then defensively, we're always punching the ball out, which is good for the runners and the receivers. It's good there that they can get that work and feel that. But so turnovers end up being a big thing, catching the football on the back end defensively. We can keep working on that.
Coach, what's your messaging to Sky Moore as he enters this camp and how to challenge him?
Yeah, just listen. He's a few years into this thing now, so just cut loose and play, and let's not think through it. Just go play. And he's doing a nice job with that. He's actually playing good football right now.
Coach Reid, what do you see from Drue Tranquill, given he'll have an expanded role this year?
Yeah, I like what I see. He's a competitive kid, very smart. He played back on the back end in college, so he's got that feel there. And then, he can get in the box there and play like a linebacker. He kind of grew into that position. So I like what I've seen. Physical player.
Very long.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I know he was messing with you guys, but he does have a groin there. We all have groins, but he has a sore groin.
How deep is the concern for Nazi, just considering he did have a surgery last year?
I think he's going to be fine. Yeah, I think he's going to be fine. You go through those things, and but he's strong, and that on his legs strong, his knees solid, all that. So he'll be fine.
And if you look at the kickoff rules, has there been a change as big as this since you've been in the NFL?
Probably not quite that big. No, that's a big one. It's big for the officials too. We've had the officials out here, and these guys are working the Thursday game, the Hall of Fame game. So it's our first time being exposed to that. So we've been working on it all off season. They're just getting exposed to it, and it's good to listen to them and see hear what they're thinking going through this and the issues that might take place. So it's been good for our players for that.
What have the conversations been like with the officials? Like, did you learn anything specifically from them about the new kickoff?
Yeah, well, they go through the new changes, which is important. This is a good crew right here. So they're one of the better crews in the NFL, and it's good to get their feedback. And they're great with our guys. They get in and give our guys feedback. We had a meeting with them last night. They did a nice job there. They had a video to show us. Did a nice job there. Yeah.
What are some of the challenges Kingsley's working through right now?
Yeah, just there are a few things. I mean, just the physical part of it, of being out here every day and going full speed against the best players in the world. So you've got to be able to back these things, and he's working his tail off doing that. And then the mental part, we're throwing a ton at him. But I like the way he's going about it. I like how he's fighting in there, and he's going to be okay as we roll here.
Coach, this was a chippier practice than maybe the last couple of days. And Drue was involved, it seemed like a lot of it.
Yeah.
What's that fine line between wanting a guy that has some fire and
Yeah, well, you have him and you have Pacheco. They both have fire, which is great. I mean, that's what makes it go. These are dog practices, man. And so any of that competition like that and a little talk, helps you get through this. And for them to get their juices going like that, I love it.
Hey, Coach, for the last 3 years, the number of quarterbacks that have had to start games has been in the mid-60s, which is much higher than the previous 15 years. So I wonder if you've noticed that trend and why you think it's trending upward, and then if it changed the way that you think about your own quarterback.
Yeah, so it's a vulnerable position, and we've always tried to keep a veteran guy just in case that has a pretty good feel and experience in there, because we know those numbers. I mean, that's what it is, and you're in a vulnerable position right there with some big men that are chasing you, trying to get you.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, good.
Just a big offseason for you where your name is kind of in the spotlight on it for actions on and off the field. Just how would you assess just the whole offseason?
Yeah, man. So offseason change. Obviously, just doing things a little bit differently, but just ultimately just getting prepared for this next season, ready for the hardest training camp in the NFL.
We see you in WWE. We see you in WWE. We saw your relationship with the Gonzis now, and it's awesome and everything. Just what does all of that mean to you?
Yeah, man, it was super special to be able to share that moment with the Burgonzis and Joey, and hats off to the WWE for allowing us to come down to WrestleMania. It was sort of cool. We were both living our childhood dreams in that moment, but it was definitely a special thing. Obviously, we were brought together through a tragic event and something that we all didn't want to experience in a day like that. But to just see him, like I mentioned earlier in my quotes, just be a child again and enjoy the moments, the things that his mind should be set on. Being able to go watch wrestlers that he envisions and dreams of. It was super cool, man.
Trey, what do you
Yeah, I love Kingsley, man. It's like a little brother. He's an extremely talented player, and we have great coaches. We have an extremely great front office. They saw a lot of ability in the player. Obviously, that's why we drafted him, and he's going to be a great player.
You went through this your rookie year. You got thrown right in the mix. I guess, what do you share with him about kind of going through a similar experience right now?
Yeah, just take it rep by rep, big dog. It's a lot they throw at you. There's a lot of information, a lot of small details to take in. Our plays can be extremely nuanced at times, and at the end of the day, you can't eat Coach Reid, you can't eat a whole cheeseburger in one bite. You got to take it one small bite at a time, man. So he's just got to take his time with it. He'll be there.
What was the toughest part for you, rookie year, when you got thrown out there first rep?
Yeah, I just think the amount of details in every play and having verbal cues for what can change in your job based on defensive fronts and schemes that they present to you. So I just think the sheer amount of information that they throw at you, it's tough, man. And then you got to factor in St. Joe's is hot, our practices are long, and it's a tough thing, man. We have one of the hardest training camps, for a reason, prepares us, but it's a tough situation.
Obviously, this is a big year for you. Just generally speaking, how are you viewing some of the contract stuff? How are you looking at this year maybe differently in that sense?
Nah, man, I'm just playing college football 25, honestly. Been taking my dynasty, Memphis Tigers with Coach Mo Greasy. We're going to see what we can get all the way. Nah, I don't look at all that stuff, man. I worry about what my coaches tell me, worry about how they feel about me. And, if I do my job at a high level, everything else is going to take care of itself, man. And that's all I got to do, man, just keep working and doing my job at a high level.
Trey, how much has your relationship with Reid, obviously playing next to him, entering the league at the same time, how much has that developed from obviously rookie season to now going into year 40?
Yeah, man. Creed and I have known each other since maybe like sophomore year of high school, so we've always been friends. And to be able to play with a guy, to have that continuity, that chemistry together as well. I mean, it makes our jobs a lot easier. A lot of things that we don't have to verbalize. That like I said in my first training camp, I have to talk to him about things, so we're on the same page. Sometimes it just naturally evolves and comes together. So it's been a huge help, man. And it's easy when you play next to a talented player like that.
How cool is it to be alongside him at O-line, masterminds, and you guys are the teachers?
Yeah.
Versus being some of the students you were obviously earlier.
Yeah, it was a little weird. I remember when I first went there, I was just hungry to get any information. Looked up to guys like Brandon Brooks, great guards that were there, just giving knowledge, and just be seeing the younger guys. I'm speaking more so towards like college players, come up to you, asking questions, coaches as well, and just sort of, imparting your wisdom and knowledge to them, just to progress the game in the right direction. I mean, it was really cool, man. Honored by that.
Last 2 here,
Trey, Coach Reid talked about practice being a little feisty. He said he likes that. Is there a thin line there between too aggressive and not aggressive during these long practices?
I mean, coach sets the tempo, but it's football, man. You know what I mean? Anger, sparks are going to fly. Bodies might get hit a little harder than they expected. It is what it is, though. At the end of the day, we're grown men out here competing for jobs. So, man, there's going to be tension. There's going to be a lot of hot heads and stuff going on. But, even cool tempers, we know what our goal is at the end of the year, though. We're going to get after it. We're down here.
Just impressions of, I know Caliendo's been here for a while, so him in that spot is kind of natural. Just impressions of Hanson and Norton in the interior there.
Yeah, talking about, okay. Obviously love Mike Caliendo, man, veteran player at this point now. Mike does a great job being a consummate professional every single day. CJ and Hunter, they're going to be great pros as well. I love the way they work every single day, and they bring it, And like I said, man, our front office does an excellent job of finding great players and great guys that can add value to our room. So they did a home run pretty much every recruit we got this year.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Feeling good?
Yeah.
You're in a good mood for longest practice, one of the hottest days. How do you keep your motor going on a day like that?
Man, we got a great group of guys, and we're excited to play ball. One of the things I noticed when I came to Kansas City is you just had a group of guys who love to play football. The days get long out here at St. Joe. They can get hot. Thankfully, we had a nice breeze today. Everybody felt it, felt good, but the spirit was high, and we just got a lot in the balance, and we got a lot to compete for, and so we know Coach Reid says it every day. He's like, you just got to show up and push through, and I think that's kind of the spirit of this team is push through anything.
Drue, I think some folks may know you more for your pass coverage, but I mean, as evidence through today and through the years, I mean, your run defense is kind of right there with it. Just with that aggression you showed today, just what does that mean to prepare like that for the run defense and impart that, that monster on the field?
I think it's just life. Like, there's stereotypes, and like I came into the league as a former safety, and so people are gonna automatically think this guy's not a physical linebacker. He's a smaller linebacker. He's good in pass coverage. He's good this, that, and the other. And so you just got to know yourself, and you got to come and work on areas where you're strong, work on areas where you're weak, and just try to get better as a player.
Kind of what PJ was saying, you could tell that there was some fire, and maybe even more than previous seasons. Just what are you trying to instill in some of your teammates there as far as the attitude of the defense and linebacker?
I don't know that I'm trying to instill anything in anybody else. I'm just trying to be myself. I love this game. I love the opportunity to play for a great organization. And I mean, you're around such great coaches and great players. I mean, this is a historic time to be a Kansas City Chief, and I feel grateful to be a part of it. And so I just try to come out here and do my job to the best of my ability. And if I can teach a young guy a thing or two, or help one of our guys who's tired or something, then it's a bonus.
What's your reaction to the NFL ban on the swivel hip drop tackle? Does that affect how you approach the game? Are you having to think more? Or what do you have to think more?
I mean, it's tough as a defender when you're tackling grown men in space. I don't think any of that's intentional. I think you're just trying to get a guy down. It'll make it tougher on us as defenders this year, for sure. But I trust that they're looking at the injury data and trying to keep us safe. And certainly when you put your weight on a guy's rear end and on their ankles and on their legs, it obviously increases the chance for it, or increases the risk for injury. And so if we can eliminate things that cause a lot of injury in our game, I'm for it. It's going to make it harder, though, as a defender.
Drue, I know you're kind of super dad, big family man. I saw you talking to the family yesterday. Just how much are they inspiring you, especially when you can't see them in times like the camp?
It's really hard. I mean, it's a credit. I'll give a shout out to my wife. I mean, she's back home with 3 children, and she's waking up early with them. She's putting them down at night. She's dealing with all the whining and the crying, everything in between. She's having to move here, move all of our stuff. And, I'm here playing football, and so our families go through a lot for us to play this game. They don't get nearly the credit we do. They don't get to talk to the media. The media doesn't really talk about them. And so the stuff that they do behind the scenes to make this possible is nothing short of amazing. And they know how much we love and appreciate them. And we love our wives, we love our kids, we love our family.
How much more comfortable do you feel in the defense, given that you're going to have an expanded role this year?
I mean, I just feel more comfortable because it's my second year in the system. This is a complex defense, we all know that. And I think this is only my second time in my collegiate and professional career where I've played in a system 2 years in a row. And so looking to make big jumps, looking to be in more command and communicate more with my teammates.
Can you talk about the competition between your unit and the offense that you guys have every day?
I mean, we got a historic offense. We got the best player in football across from us. We got the best tight end ever. We've got a just slew of receivers that can threaten the field vertical, level 1, level 2, level 3. We've got one of the most physical offensive lines in the NFL. And they make it tough in every aspect of the game. You've got a Hall of Fame coach in Andy Reid, Matt Nagy, and their entire staff designing plays that are tough that you haven't seen before. And so they challenge us each and every day, but it just makes us better.
Last two, Matt and Nick.
Drew, what's it like being on the field on days like this when you've got those like 10+ long drives, you're out there for a while, Pacheco's talking to you, you're talking to him. What's it like on the field? It's just that exchange and that competition.
I think it does something chemically in your body. It gives you a little more adrenaline, a little more dopamine whenever you're chatting, talking with somebody. It helps you forget how hot, how tired you are. But man, is he a ball energy for our team? He does a lot for this team that goes unsaid, just behind the scenes, vocally. And when you have a guy that runs as hard as he does and brings it week in and week out, it makes you puff your shoulders up a little bit and get ready for it on the defensive side. We're thankful to have Pacheco for sure.
You're shrugging yourself a little bit there too.
I'm just trying to bring it, man. I know he's going to be low in the hole, and I got to be able to meet him there and knock him back.
Drew, you've been a former young player before in this league. I just want your perspective on two things: watching the kickoff rule, and how that might be even more difficult for young guys trying to make a roster, and given what you go through, obviously in the one-on-ones, just what has impressed you most, or what's it been like to try to teach Lewis how to be prepared for this game, considering he's obviously never played football?
Yeah, I'll answer the second part first. I mean, there's a lot of aspects, I think, of rugby that probably translate over to the running back position, and there's probably a lot of aspects that don't. He's learning the aspects that don't, and he's seeing the aspects that do. We know he's got incredible top-end speed. He's got to learn in pass pro how to sit down, how to take on blocks. He's got to learn the ins and outs of the game, and he's a great athlete. That'll come with time. In terms of the kickoff rule, it's tough because you have guys that are coming to make the team, and they're going to do so on special teams. And you've got veterans that are learning the rule for the first time too. So it's like we're all in the same boat. It makes it tough when guys have never necessarily played this way before on the kickoff, but I think it's going to make the game more fun. I think that play will be exciting. I think it'll be an interesting trial this year to see how it goes. I anticipate obviously a lot more returns, and I anticipate a lot of touchdowns, to be honest. It's difficult the way the setup zone is. If you get one or two guys out of a lane, it can create a huge seam, and there's no layers to it, and so there's all defenders at the same level, and so if you break through that one line of defense, you're really on the kicker. And so it'll be interesting to see what teams do if they put their kicker in there, if they put a safety body, like we have Reid. There's a lot of nuances that we'll see as the season goes on. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
As always.